What is going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe, Nile Scala here with Crowdfunding Comics, joined by my talented host, Mr. Billy Tucci. What's up, buddy?
And my talented host, Mr. Scala. How are you?
Dude, I am doing well, my friend. I am pumped, bro. Do you realize we have done more shows?
Hang on a minute. I'm listening to our show. Ged, what'd you say? Ged, I apologize.
What are you listening to our show for? This was an
I
epic,
was talking to
heartwarming
Lee
moment.
Man, and TJ.
We've done more shows than either of us have been on this planet, bro. This is episode 54.
Whoa!
54.
54. Thank you guys for joining us. But you know what? Right now, let's get to it. Let's get down to the King of Oz, the Samurai of Oz, the one, the only Mr. Ron Zabala. So we can talk about now. What's her name? Is it? Let's put Ron on. Where is Ron?
Ron is on.
Where am I?
Where
hey guys.
How we
there?
doing, Ron?
I don't see him.
He's coming. He's going. Chit chat. Chit chatting, bros.
How's it going, guys?
Chatting.
Thanks for having me.
Bopping and Dorothy Blade. Ninja slashing Toto the Wolf. What is up, man? You are kicking ass.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Samurai of Oz 2, bro.
Yes.
Z2, OZ2.
And you are up to $36,766. You have 625 backers, and you still have 6 days left, man.
Yes. 6 more days. I gotta kick some butt.
Yeah, let's get you a lot more than that, man. Let's push it this whole week.
Yes, for sure. That's what it's all about. Every day you gotta get in there.
That's right.
Man. This is such a fun idea. But first, before we get into it, man, Ron, I know we've chatted a bit on via email and through some messaging, and I know mainly a lot of your comic books in the past were distributed through Diamond. So I really want to get to know you better. I mean, let me hear your origin story. How did you get into this crazy world of comic books?
Well, like everyone, like the 80s and 90s, that was my main thing. Picking up the comics back then, all the Image and the early Marvel. Went and bought the comics with my dad, walking to the comic store, picking them up. And back then, I actually was drawing them myself, even though I'm not able to draw very well. But I would draw my own comics and cut them out with the scissors and staple them together, and then eventually reading them to my younger siblings. And that was like my dream of, I'm gonna hope I make comics someday. And it's something that just stuck with me. But getting to college and all that stuff, I realized I'm not much of an artist. And back then it was like, okay, I can't draw, so I can't make a comic, basically is what my mentality was for the longest time. And I just went into the whole corporate USA and all that jazz, and it was a web designer, graphic designer. So I did do art, but it was more like the graphic design end and all for corporate stuff. And it wasn't until I started to do some 3D poser stuff. I don't know if you guys know Poser and Daz, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did some commissions with that, and people were like, hey, why don't you try making comics with that? And so that's why I was like, hey, why don't I try making comics with that? And I mean, it's not the same thing, but it is still, telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
And, people liked it, and I started making some money with that. I did some commissions, some private commissions. I did a lot of stuff under pen name and working with different artists. And so at some point I was making enough where I was like, what if I hire someone to do this for me? And that's when I started hiring a couple of total unknowns, like first time ever artists, and got them to do the comics that people were commissioning for me. I would pay them to draw it. And I, pretty much was like almost kind of like an agent, but I was still also, they had asked me to write it, and then I would do the comic with the artists.
Mm-hmm.
And it was way more than my 3D stuff was making, my Poser Daz stuff. So that's when I was like, whoa, hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, what if I make my own comic that's my own story, that's my own thing? And that's when I did a few models. I did a model of Patriotica. I did a model of Collateral D,
Mm-hmm.
and Valkyrie Sabers. Those were going to be my first 3 series. But the Patriotica artist kind of disappeared on me, and the Valkyrie Sabers was taking too long, and then Collateral D actually was finished first. And Collateral D actually hasn't been published yet. So it was the first comic I finished. I had all 3 done. I only had them in PDF. I hadn't printed them out yet. And I took them to San Diego Comic-Con 5 years ago. Patriotica, Valkyrie Saviors, and Collateral D. and I showed it to a lot of different producers. Like the one that I most remember is Mark Silvestri, and for me it was such an honor to meet him, and a huge fan of him. And he was like, "Oh, first one I showed him was Collateral D because I was like, that one's the one that's like 99. That one's 100% finished." And he was like, "Ah." But then he saw Patriotica and Valkyrie Savers, and he was like, "Whoa, you got something here."
Yeah, he's like, that chick's hot.
That's awesome.
For that, and he told me the artwork for Collateral D wasn't up to snuff, and he was like, "But for the Patriotica and Valkyrie Savers artwork were." And he said the story sounded great. I told him the whole pitch and everything, and he was like, "Whoa, okay, well, I think you got something going." So, and I showed it to a couple of other producers, and they also gave me similar feedback. And I was just like, "Oh, wow, okay." They all were like, "No, Collateral D, no, Patriotica and Valkyrie Savers, yes," especially Patriotica. So I was like, "All right, well, then I guess I'll, go to bat with Patriotica first." And but around, and so with Kickstarter, I researched it for like 3 years because, I was going to do it right away. That was right after the San Diego. I wanted to jump into Kickstarter. But I was like, you know what? Let me find out how this whole Kickstarter thing works. And I started backing them. And I started to realize, well, it's way more complicated than I realized, especially with that very first Kickstarter I backed was that video game that took 3 years to fulfill. And I mean, this was a big company. They raised like $1 million or whatever. I was like, if these guys are struggling to fulfill, I better really find out how this works before I, make any mistakes or make people angry. So I took about 2 years backing other Kickstarters, seeing how it works, learning stuff, talking to people, and then finally put Patriotica on there, and it blew up. People loved Patriotica. Wonderful fans came in and really supported her. I think our first Patriotica was 42,000, and I did really well. So from then I did Valkyrie Savers and then went back to Patriotica. I went back and forth between the two of them. Then Samurai of Oz, it's something I've been thinking about way back from when I was doing commissions, way back in the day. And I was thinking, I always wanted to do something with Oz. And I really love anime. That's a huge inspiration. So, 80s and 90s Marvel comics and anime are my big inspirations. And I was like, well, how could I blend everything together? And I was like, oh, a samurai thing. I really like samurais. I don't know. It just hit me one night. And then all of a sudden, it just started to eat away at my brain. I was like, okay, I really got to do Valkyrie Savers 3. But Oz just kept, I just kept thinking of stuff. Oh, this could happen. That could happen. And next thing I know, I put my artists on it. And I found some artists that were really fantastic. And I showed a couple friends, and they were like, yes, oh, I can't wait. And that's, that excitement just started to build up. I showed some fans, and that was the end of it. When I showed fans, they were like, at shows, I showed them at conventions. I had like sketches of the characters and stuff. People really just went bananas for it. So I was like, okay, let's try it out. And the first Oz blew past all my previous Kickstarters at 55,000. Way past Patriotica. Wow. Yeah, my previous high was 49 with Patriotica, and this one went all the way up to 55. I mean, for a first-time title, I was expecting. So Valkyrie made about 27, so I was expecting around 27, which is less. It's a totally different kind of story.
Right. How? What year was the Patriotica?
2 years ago. So 2017.
And then what year was Samurai Oz 1?
That was, I want to say this January.
Wow.
So it's this year.
That's pretty recent.
Good.
Wow.
So you got that bad boy out, and then you solicited the next. Excellent.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump back on to Oz because people really. I had so many people asking me at conventions and coming up and like, oh my god, I need more Oz.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now is Patriotica still available?
Yeah, so I've got 1 through 3 done. I've got them in my Etsy shop if anyone wants to pick them up. Olympus Comics Etsy. And then I've got number 4 is right now on the extended store. The Backer Kid Second Chance. That you get that 1 week where everyone's fulfilling their surveys, and you can go in and if you missed a Kickstarter, you can go in, or if you don't like Kickstarter, you can still order from the Backer Kid shop. So I've got that going on right now. And then that's for number 4. That one was from earlier this year, and now I've got Oz 2 up. And after Oz 2, then we'll go back to finishing Valkyrie 3.
So you have you right now Oz 2 is live, but you already have Oz 3 complete?
Oz 3, no, actually, no, Oz 3 not yet. Oz 2 is live. Oz 3, I'll be working on. But since I've got Valkyrie next and then Patriotica after that, I
Okay.
figured I'll take my time and
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's smart. And
No.
you
I've
get,
got
and
I've
you,
got the artist lined up and reserved. I reserved his time for it because he's very much in demand. But
yeah.
his name's Santa Fung and he's super talented. So
Yeah, the art
yeah,
on
well,
all of your, I just, did a quick scroll for everyone to see all your past campaigns on Kickstarter, and I have to say, all the art is amazing.
It is amazing. It
It
is. It
really
really
is.
thanks. Yeah, it's that's also what some of the producers I showed the stuff to, and I think I've gotten better about it. I'm kind of glad. So with Collateral D, now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have someone
Mhm.
redraw it because that was like the main critique was the artworks, and so I was like, and when I redraw it, now that I've done Patriotica first, I have to rewrite the story a little bit too.
Mhm.
But I do try to. The way I feel is that when you crack open a comic, you want the inside to be as good as the outside. It doesn't necessarily have to match, but the quality level should be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I've always felt like when I open a comic and the inside is just way worse than the cover. It was always such a like, downer as a kid.
Mhm.
So I want to make sure that when people crack it open, if it's a different cover artist, at least people are like, wow, that's also really good
Mhm.
on the inside.
So you solely write all of these comics?
Yeah, I've been doing all the writing. I have been
Mhm.
looking at working with a writer, but right now I've still been doing
Okay.
all of it.
So how much do you get into the actual character design for your books? Are you giving written descriptions to your artists? Are you physically working alongside them as they're drawing? Give us a little detail on how you go about creating your character designs.
Yeah, so for character design, I am mostly doing like the full-on design. So with Patriotica and Collateral D, I created both of them in Poser, and then of course the artists made it a little nicer, but it was based off the initial design that I put on there, and that's usually how I work. Is that where I'll try to put it together either in Poser or just a really rough sketch myself, just because I've got a vision of what my characters will look like. But of course, now I've come to learn that it's also good to get the artist input because that's one more person contributing ideas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And some of my artists are really just do phenomenal creative ideas for all my characters. And I figure, hey, if they're doing such nice work with this character designs, why not, keep working with them? So, but typically I do try to like, I'll get a bunch of references. I'll find a lot of stuff. I'll be like, I want this helmet, this outfit, this top, that
Mhm.
bottom, those shoes, that, and then I'll be like, but edit it like this, and I'll take it into Photoshop. So, because I was a graphic designer, I when I did graphic design, I did it for a real estate company and also for a marketing company, and both times there was like strict deadlines. So I got really good at like editing stuff real fast. So I'll take a picture I find and be like, put this armor, but shape it this way and color it this way, and I'll do it on Photoshop. Half the time they're like, well, you already did it. I'm like, yeah, but you gotta draw it.
Yeah.
So that's something that's helped me a lot. The graphic design, all the logos, all the advertising, everything. Not all the logos. The logos I do hire people,
Mhm.
but all the advertising and all the promos I do it all myself. So all the graphic design work.
So are you doing this full time now? Is this your job?
It is my full-time job. I'm all
Excellent.
day managing
That's
artists,
awesome.
writing, editing, promoting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, your campaigns. I mean, you're doing very well. I mean, I'd love to
Thank
know
you.
how you are. What is your method of actually going about and promoting this? Because you really it seems like you hit the gate and you just ran, dude, and the fans you just started getting all these fans, and I mean, you're hitting over 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. I mean, you're doing something right, man, and you're
Yeah.
growing. I'd love to know your method of promoting each campaign.
Uh, my main promotional thing is Facebook. Like I know a lot,
Mhm.
it doesn't work for everybody, but for me, that's been always my first one. And it's not as good as it was with that first Patriotica. Like I don't think if I did Patriotica, if it was the way Facebook is now back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's just 2 years, but it's changed radically. Like the number of views and likes and stuff that I get on my posts is about 10% of what it was back then. So I'm not sure how it would work now. But the biggest one for me has always been Facebook. It was very expensive in the beginning because trying to figure out, okay, what do I pay for this, pay for that? I cut back a lot, and it's still, doing pretty good. I do some conventions, but I only do about 6 conventions a year. So for me, because I am working on the Kickstarters, I do all the me and my wife does all the billing and all that side of it,
Hmm.
taxes and stuff like that, and she does a lot, like 90% of the fulfillment stuff,
Yeah,
and
it's
and
like
so
my wife.
yeah, so and you know how it is, it's so much work, and
Yeah.
so that's like a full-time job for her, along with all the tech stuff. And so for me, I'm doing all the creative and artist management and all that stuff. But I have been looking at, I should really get more people involved,
Hmm.
get some, writers, get some people to promote. This is the very first month I tried out the service. I can't recommend it yet. I bumped heads with them at the very end of the first month. It's the service where it's a really sweet deal. It's called, oh, I'll tell you, it's called Graphic Suit, and they offer you one graphic design a day. And I was like, wow, that sounds impossible, for like $300. So
Hmm.
I was like, one graphic design a day. If they're legit, this could be like a huge deal for anybody that's like me, because I I worked them hard, and of course I started to find the limitations. Like, oh, okay, we don't work on weekends. If there's a holiday, we don't work. If we need to change something, that change counts as a day. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Now it's going backwards, and I'm like, okay. So I was like, I'm going to cancel. And they're like, oh, let's make up those days that you missed. And so they made it up. And every time I get a bus, they make it up. And I'm like, okay, well, I've probably gotten about 20 designs out of them. And on average, a logo, a promo, app, all these like things that I'm like, whoa, hey, each one of those alone would probably cost about $100 to $300
Yeah.
if done.
Yeah.
What's the name of them? What's the name of it?
Graphics Zoo. But hold on, before you guys join in. So this is barely my first month trying it out,
Yeah.
and not trying to cancel it because I was like, okay, it's over. I got everything I needed in those 30 days because I
Hmm.
planned ahead, and now it's not letting me cancel. And they're like, oh, but we really want you. We don't want you to quit. I'm like, no, no, cancel it. And I try to do it on the website, and it won't cancel my credit card. They're like, okay, we accept you have submitted your request to cancel your payment, and we will process, or we will get back to you. And it's like, wait a minute, no, I clicked cancel. You gotta stop charging my credit
Yeah,
card.
really.
Yeah.
So this is it's $300 a month.
Yeah, so that first month is 25% off if you find the coupon, and
Right.
so it's like 260. And really, if you do them for 1 month and you're able to get even 20 graphic designs, that is worthwhile. You just gotta
Right.
know what you want.
Right.
But I had to do some stuff that for me would have been way more than $300. So I think if I can work out this payment thing, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be traveling to New York next month, and I'm not going to be using them as much. So I feel like I'm not going to get my money's worth. Let me turn it off and then turn it back on. If they let me do that, or if they let me back out completely, that's what I'm right now worried about. Like, hey, you guys
Yeah.
going to charge me, try to squeeze me for another month? That's not cool. But if they let me back out, then I will promote them and be like, hey, you know what? This is worthwhile too. Because really, getting that many designs for that price is really a crazy deal. And
Yeah.
the
So
designs have been nice.
now it's logos. Is it graphics with your art? Do you send them your art? Like what do they do?
Right. So they do logos from scratch. They do. I had them draw, like, I don't know if you saw my little diorama that I have on my Kickstarter, the diorama where there's like a temple in the background and stuff. Let me see if I
Uh
got
huh.
it here.
Yeah, let me pull that up for everyone so you can see, because this is actually kind of a really cool
So this thing,
stretch goal.
I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that temple right there, I had a graphic designer do that, and then I went with this company, and I was like, okay, guys, I need about 10 of these, and that
Hmm.
counted for one day. They made 10 of them in one day, and I was like, whoa, just 10 of those alone. My guy that made that one temple charged me $50, so I'm like, okay, well, that's already gonna pay for the program,
Hmm.
and then so stuff like that, logos, some website design they do. So if you need like a template, they don't do any of the HTML, which of course that would be just crazy if they did that. But they give you the whole editable page with the graphics, the text, and all that
Hmm.
stuff. So if you got a guy that's HTML savvy, they'll be able to throw it on there relatively easy with the design already all laid out.
Yeah.
And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, and I just want to touch base before this. I lose this in the chat here. But Ryan Carnell made a good suggestion. What he does is, for services like that, he uses a prepaid credit card. So this way they can't if they keep charging or charging, it's going to stop.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So it's like a card. It's almost like a phone
Yeah.
card, a credit card, like you can buy.
Yeah, you buy a prepaid credit card and put it on
That's
that. And I'm
right.
assuming this way, they can't be scamming you, at a certain point or keep charging you when you've told them not to.
Right. Right, yeah. I think maybe the PayPal credit card works that way. I'm not sure, and I should have probably used that. But I'm gonna try that next time. This is just something I saw. I kept getting the ads for it, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, it looks if it really is the way it is, and having done so much graphic design, I was like, okay, I can probably direct them. And I don't know if it's a lot of directing on my end, but I think I really. They told me you work as hard. I'm like, yeah, I do, but you guys didn't tell me a limit of
Yeah,
what I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just had them do a full calendar. There's like all these things, and I'm like, yeah, that counts as a day. You guys didn't say I can't do that for one day.
Yeah.
But so if this payment thing works out, I definitely recommend. I would say it's an incredible tool for any indie guys because doing these promos that's a big part of my day is drawing up the promos. Editing them, taking the artwork from one place to the other. And pretty much I just set up a folder and was like, okay, grab these images, use some of them, and make a promo for me. That counted as a one item, one day thing.
Yeah.
But
so let's get into it. We've been talking about a lot of stuff that you're doing. So let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of Samurai of Oz 2, which you currently, like we said, have live now on Kickstarter. So before we get into it and we start scrolling through and showing some of the amazing art, rewards, and things you have going on, I am going to play the video for the fans so they can just get that explanation of what this awesome campaign is.
Hey guys, welcome to the Samurai of Oz 2 Kickstarter. Samurai of Oz 2 is Mount Olympus Comics' 8th Kickstarter, and it's all thanks to the Olympus Legions, the Olympus First, and of course the Samurai of Oz 1 backers that were able to bring Chapter 2 to you. Samurai of Oz 2 picks up right where Samurai of Oz 1 left off, with Dorothy Blade hacking and slashing her way through Oz with her giant wolf, Black Wolf Toto. This time we meet the Scare Demon, the Blade of the North, and the Tin Dullahan. For Samurai of Oz 2 Kickstarter, we have some fantastic pledge level rewards, depending on the pledge level that you pledge on, ranging from beautiful variant covers, metal cards. For the first time, we have wall scrolls. And for our very top tier, we have a beautiful wooden diorama and a beautiful box that the top tier rewards will come in that are exclusive to the top tier. It is called the Collector's Edition. Please check out all the rewards we have for everyone. Please share the Kickstarter, and please enjoy the next few weeks. We've got some wonderful surprises in store for you. Thanks again, everyone.
All right, guys. So let's talk about what we have here, man. I mean, so is this the main cover we're looking at?
So that's the Kickstarter exclusive cover.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Is that Santa's work?
No, that is art of Nate. I just found them this year, and I just love its style.
Oh, it's amazing. Beautiful.
That is amazing.
Beautiful. I mean, Santa's work is great too. I mean, wow. I mean, look at that.
So that's all Santa Fung right there.
He's now. Where did you meet your artist? Where did you meet Santa?
So let's see.
You're talking about Santa Fung, everyone out there.
Santa Fung, yeah. So him, I'm pretty sure. I pretty much scour every art site every day. I try to at least give half an hour to just scouring the art sites because, like I said, I like working with a lot of different artists, just having the variety and giving a lot of people opportunities. And I think with him, it might have been on Facebook, like a friend of a friend kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw, they shared one of his artworks, and it wasn't even a page. And I was like, oh God, if this guy can do pages, he would be perfect. So I contacted him, and he was like, yeah, I've done pages. And he showed me his pages. Now, these colors are by Alessia Nocera, and she does really wonderful color, very, very good compliment. But Santa Fung also does really, you can see
it's a great team, and it's interesting you mentioned Ninja Scroll because it has a real flavor to that, I mean, I love Ninja Scroll. I have a couple of cells actually from it myself.
Oh, wow, nice.
And I picked them up, I think, in San Diego in 94 or 95. I'm like, oh my God, I need this. I hadn't even, it was 94, I think. I'm like, I haven't even seen this yet, and I need this.
Yeah, that was Ninja Scroll, Vampire Hunter D, the old Vampire Hunter D and the new one, big inspirations for the comic. Just that anime, they're over the top, and that's kind of what I love about anime. It's over the top, it's fun, get your mind off of everything.
Yep. Now, what you mentioned some art sites. Which art sites would you recommend? Because I know we have some writers here, and maybe one of them is sitting, with a Crowdfunding Comics logo behind him or something like that. his name may be Nile. These guys are looking for artists for their books. Can you Can you give us insight on some of the art websites that you do go on? Some of the art pages.
Yeah, for sure. So the first one I started on was DeviantArt, and unfortunately, DeviantArt has kind of deteriorated in terms of traffic. I guess people just are using Instagram more. But that for me was like a big one because you just had those groups where people would share their art, and once you figure out how to navigate through DeviantArt, you can find people all the time advertising commissions available. I also joined a couple of random small sites that had where you work for hire. Excuse me. And the work for hire was like, they would reach out to me. I would put up the ad, say, I need an artist for 20 pages. And then they would reach out, like random artists would send me their work, and I would, just review it. And to be honest, I probably went through like 50 artists, and I was like, oh God, these guys are not going to work for me. I love seeing all the artwork, but there was a very specific thing that I wanted. I said anime, and people were sending me just traditional comic style. And then one day I got, the wonderful artist Gian Bernal, that he did my Valkyrie Saviors. His work is really incredible, and I was really shocked that he hadn't been published. So I got him on Valkyrie Saviors, and that was. And then I saw he had a DeviantArt, and started to see who he was working with, followed some of his people that he was following, and outside of DeviantArt, like I mentioned, Instagram is now like the big thing. So I definitely recommend Instagram. The problem with Instagram is you have to be on your phone to message them or anything like that.
I know.
I work on my PC most of the day, so to have to go on my phone, find that person, message them, and then put my phone back down. It's just so much easier when I can just alt tab and work everything from the PC and just keep everything consistent. Send them files from the PC and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way with that with Instagram, because everyone says they have Instagram accounts and all this, but you can only really use it on your phone. So unless you're like a high school kid or a college kid who's always on their phone every day, we're working.
Right, exactly.
And it's kind of like, but like on Instagram, if you're looking for artists, are there certain hashtags you follow? Do you follow a hashtag that says anime or manga? Like, how do you find these people, these artists you may not know through Instagram?
I tried following the hashtags, and you end up getting all kinds of random spam. And it's just not gonna. The hashtags are just too broad.
Yeah.
And unless it's like, for me specifically, I had to, I put like samurai art. Okay, now here we go. Now it was much better. Unfortunately, the spam, I still got spam, and it's from these people that, what they'll do is they'll grab artwork from various artists and put it on their page. Sometimes they credit the artist and sometimes they don't, and they call themselves like, samurai art page. So it was really frustrating because, oh great, now I'll see some beautiful art, and I'm like, oh God, who drew this? But it doesn't have their name, and the person doesn't know, because it's just, I don't know if they're making money from it or why they do this. But there's a lot of sites, there's a lot of Facebook pages, Instagram pages like that. And so it was kind of tough to find people using the hashtag. But then I was like, what, I'll go back to my roots. I've always known how to navigate the Google and all that good stuff. And so, doing the reverse engineering, popping into Google images, the images that they were using, and then finding the actual person's artwork. Okay, here we go. So that's how I found some people through Instagram. But again, that's like so much extra work and time. And so the other one that's a really big one for me is ArtStation. I love ArtStation. I spend hours on that thing.
What's ArtStation? Is that a website?
Yes. So it's another.
I'm right.
Deviant art, but it's the modern Deviant art. So I highly recommend that one. ArtStation.
What about the Facebook?
Yeah, that's how I am too. I'm like, I want to know. So is that on? I'm sorry, Ron. So where is ArtStation?
I think it's just artstation.com.
Oh, okay.
That one's just a website that's artstation.com, and
okay.
You'll find yourself spending forever. If you're like me and you like seeing artwork, it's most. I will warn you, ArtStation is like 90% digital art. So a lot of people just like the original and stuff like that. It's all digital. A lot of artists from outside the U.S. and some really amazing talent. I can't hear Billy for whatever reason.
I don't think he was talking.
Oh, okay.
No, you're talking about this is your show. Yeah. I know I talk a lot. I apologize.
No, I thought you were saying something and I couldn't hear it. But yeah. So ArtStation. He's playing mind games with me. I know it.
He is. He's very sneaky. Very, very sneaky.
That was great. All right, so Ron, tell us about your 24-page comic. All right, give us the story. This is the the second adventures of Dorothy Blade and the giant wolf Toto, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens in this issue, and something very interesting that you've done, which is a departure from the norm, but I think you're onto something really big here. Your comic is 24 pages. It's not 48, 72. A lot of guys feel they have to, they feel compelled to do a book that is 100 pages long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, I figure eventually I'll do the trade. Since people trades, I find that conventions trades are wonderful. That's like the best selling thing I have, and people have highly often recommended that I do trade. Hold on, let me turn the light on so you guys can see me. Let there be light. And even though the problem with trades, of course, not just the printing is more expensive, but the hiring the artist and the colorist and all that just multiplies by that much more.
Your costs multiply. Absolutely.
Budget-wise, it just happened to be I did the first Patriotica was 24 pages, and that was just what I had for a budget, and it worked. And people liked it, and I thought, okay, well, I'll keep it this way. So I do have future plans for Oz, and each of my right now. At first, people said it was a mistake, but I think it's working for me. Is that Samurai of Oz, Valkyrie Saviors, and Patriotica are all in their own universe. Of course, it's a multiverse, so yes, they are all intertwined like that. But as far as the story is concerned, they're each telling their own story, and I didn't want them to cross over just yet. And Collateral D would have been with Patriotica, or will be eventually with Patriotica, and she does show up in the first issue, like a little cameo. But my whole thing with Oz is, I want to get that universe established before I do any kind of crazy stuff. And with Oz, it's actually only going to be 4 issues. And I figured, this way I have more time to really get the best artwork. I didn't want to, if I did like a 100-page book, I'd have to get someone, much less expensive, a colorist much less expensive, and of course, then the quality would be affected. And that budget, I would be able to use less covers. Covers is, something that it lets me work with a lot more artists. Having the big variety of covers and the variant covers, I get to work with so many different artists. And if I had to spend more on pages, because each page is almost sometimes, depending on the artist, it could add up to, a cover price. Depending. And so I'm like, okay, do I want to? If I did that, it would just be that much more and time consuming. It would take way longer to get these out if I was doing a longer book.
Smart. It's really smart.
And it's been working out. I mean, you see if people are happy with it, and I've always been a fan of cliffhangers, so I've always got a cliffhanger at the end. And I feel if it's a longer book, it's harder to cliffhanger properly.
Yeah.
So with a shorter book, it's just more fitting cliffhanger that's more interesting.
So I have a question. Where's the Tin Man?
He does show up in the second issue. This is where you'll meet the Tin Man. Towards the very end of the issue. If you scroll on the page, if you go to the Kickstarter page, it is one of the stretch goals that was unlocked. I think the artwork's on there. It'll be down in the stretch goals.
By the way, I love this page right here.
Yeah.
I love this. That's what I made our background.
Yeah, that was when I saw that from Santa Fung, I was like, oh my god, this guy really knocked it out. So at the 26,500, you'll see the Tin Man's right there.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, there you go.
The headless armor, Dullahan, living armor, headless living armor.
Oh, wow.
And so that, with that stretch goal, that's going to be the artwork on the back of the book.
Gorgeous.
Very cool.
Gorgeous. Now, if we may scroll up, Nile, if you could ninja scroll up, sorry. You have a scroll, it looks like.
That was where I was going, Billy.
Oh, well done. Well played,
Yes.
old chum.
This is cool, the scroll.
The scroll is cool. What is that scroll?
So that scroll is a bonus that I added to the Kickstarter to kind of give people incentive to back a physical item. If any backer that backs a physical item has a chance to get one of the 10 scrolls. So I got it right here. You can see the scroll. And if they find the scroll in their box of stuff that I send out with every Kickstarter, then they will open it up. They'll see that beautiful art inside. I got it right here. One that's open.
Oh, lovely.
That's really cool.
That's cool. Now, are there 2 different scrolls or 1?
So yes,
there's 10 of them.
We just had another one.
Oh, holy smokes, Billy! There's 10 of them.
Hi, Jordan. Somebody printed there's 10 scrolls now.
How dare you, Scala!
And so if they pull the scroll, they get the cool scroll. My wife was like, "That's a cool enough prize." I'm like, "No, we gotta make it really sweet." And so I decided you'll get a miniature version of the diorama. So it'll be about like 50% of the size of the diorama that the top tier gets.
Ooh.
And that way people have a chance to get that. If they can't get the top tier, they have a chance of getting the smaller version. And they get a 1 of 10 metal virgin variant of this cover.
Nice.
Cover. So it's like a cool little prize. And so just this week we unlocked the green one, which works the same way. See it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, and basically it'll have a different artwork, and again you'll get the 1 in 10 chance to get that cover. I mean, get one of the unique covers. It's all down there, but it's just something to make it more exciting. Make noise. I feel like when a Kickstarter is live, the most important thing is to make noise. Get people to be like, "Hey, what's this? Check it out." Yeah. And on top of that, I thought the scroll is really, really cool. And with the whole samurai and all that kind of thing, I thought it was kind of fitting. And ninja scroll,
Yeah. I might be hitting you up. Because I love that idea for our Senryaku Artists and Writers edition. And nice. And we have 36. There's 36 stratagems in the Chinese art of war. And if I could talk to you after the show, now these are offered through a box, like a mystery box, or they actually get a chance.
They'll just get it in their package. So when just by pledging on any physical item, they'll have a chance. I'm gonna put all the number of the backers in the random.
Cool.
Oh, cool. So it's just it's like a lottery.
Right.
That's awesome.
And 10 people have the chance to pull the scroll out, and it's got the cool artwork too. So I thought that's kind of neat, and so this way I can do it in the future again. And
yeah, Billy was going to do something similar too. He was going to do lockets of his own hair for 5 of the backers, and randomly pull their names out of the hat.
Hey, good work.
Yeah, they're called mustache packs.
All right, so Ron, tell us, Ron, Samurai of Oz, Episode 1, Issue 1. What happened in that issue that led us to, and what happens in Issue 2?
Okay, so Issue 1 is where we meet Dorothy Blake. She lives in a small village, helping out all the villagers day to day, and everyone knows that there's something special about her. She's got superhuman strength. She's incredibly fast, but she's just doing day to day stuff. And we've got some action and stuff going on where she's like protecting the village from thieves, from just regular thieves, nothing major. But it's very much influenced by the Wizard of Oz. So except, instead of having regular Dorothy, we've got Dorothy Blade, who is like the badass samurai, and that there's something unique about her. And so she gets the whole tornado thing going where her house gets picked up. But before that happens, when she sees that, something's going on in her house, there's these 2 spirit foxes in her house. So they're kind of like they're like ninjas, but like the fox ninjas kind of. Kunoichi, that's what they're called, Kunoichi. And so she's got to mix it up with them, and they're looking for a sword. And so she doesn't know what's going on, but they attack her, and they're trying to kill her. So at this point, up until now, Dorothy's handled the thieves without just beating them up without really anything fatal. But at this point, when okay, you're in my house, you're messing with me, this is when she lets out a little bit of what she can really do, and she just kills one of them in 2 seconds. Even though they're fully trained and everything, she says one move, and in one move she just finishes them off, and that's where they're like, oh wait, hold on. But because they are all supernatural creatures, they try to possess her, and then you'll see the story takes where this is all happening while the tornadoes got her house picked up in the air, and then our version of the Wicked Witch, the Blade of the West, the Wicked Blade, she comes in and chops the house in half with a magical slash. And so the fighting going on now through the debris of her house. Everything's falling. She's fighting the two Kunoichi, and Toto's trying to help her out. And then one of the Kunoichi. So after she kills the one, its spirit's floating around, tries to possess her, but she's able to resist it. And so before that, the other one that she killed, that one ends up possessing her wolf. So she tries to, tries to possess her, and the wolf jumps in the way, and she ends up possessing the wolf. She says, "Crap, I'm stuck in this wolf." She's like, "I might make something out of it." And so she makes the wolf really big, and they start fighting, and that's when when the Wicked Witch attacks, busting up the house, and the wolf's kind of like, "What the hell's going on? Why are you attacking? We're still here." So it's kind of like them getting to changing sides kind of thing, and that's when the wolf's like, "Wait, hold on," and then her adventures in Oz. I don't want to get into it, but she'll meet the Scarecrow, which is a scare demon. He's like a badass ghost-possessed samurai Scarecrow. And then the Tin Man, and eventually.
Where is the Scarecrow? Because I love the Wizard of Oz. Where does she find the Scarecrow? How does she come upon the Scarecrow? Where is?
Right. So she is being hauled away, and she is defeated by the Wicked Witch. When the house lands and everything, she's able to handle the Wicked Witch's minions, which are the apes. But but instead of like the tiny little cute apes from the old movies, it's these 8-foot tall apes that you can see in the background. That background image, those are the apes.
Yeah. Oh no, they're great. Yep.
So it's these 8-foot tall Amazons with giant wingspan and these humongous fists, gloves. And so she's able to handle them, but the witch is just so powerful. She uses her magic and knocks out Dorothy and Toto. And so at that point, the apes are hauling Toto and Dorothy back to the witch's temple. And on their way through the air, something attacks them. These huge roots, like tree roots, impale the two apes that are carrying Dorothy and Toto, and it's the scare demon that saves her, or it doesn't really save her because she was already waking up on her own, but helps her out.
Okay.
And that's when they're like, "Oh, okay, so this is where they got to find out, are they friend or foe?" So of course they got to fight each other, and then this first issue, that's where it picks up, with them fighting against each other.
Damn. That comic moves like anime. It moves like a film.
Very anime inspired.
I mean, look how much, right? I mean, look at all the kinetic energy. Look at all the energy. And if you could scroll through those panels. I mean, look at
we'll start up here. I mean, look at this.
Wow.
And
but that's what you were looking for. That's what you hunted for, and you found that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I probably looked at over 100 artists that could do interior, and I found there was always people that said they could do it, and then they would turn on a page like 2 months later, and that's when I'm like, okay, red flag.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, or it wasn't up to par. So one big issue with going through these art galleries is you'll find some artists that have amazing art on their gallery, but as soon as you commission them, you'll end up with what the heck is this?
Oh,
what happened here?
Right.
So I don't know if those in their gallery were like their one-hit wonder, or if they had someone else helping them, or if they were like, I don't know, something suspicious. And, you find out when you pay them money, you're like, oh, wait a minute. But I've also had the flip side where I've got an artist where I'm like, okay, it seems like it's okay. I'm going to commission them, and then I get something like that really blows my mind. So it is a bit of a gamble. And so that's when the whole thing about, do you pay them up front? Do you pay them at the end? But everybody wants to get paid up front. And then, as a producer, for me, it's like, I really don't want to pay up front. I don't. So I come to, I try to do the half up front, half at the end. I'll also look and see if there's any comments. So that's something I've been doing, is I look at the comments and all their images to see if anyone's complaining about being late on their commissions. And so if I see a few people complaining about commissions, I'll Google their name to see if there's anything online about the person, to avoid, any issues like that. And that way, you don't make that mistake. It can be a very expensive mistake, especially in the beginning. For me, there was a lot of artists where I've got a lot of stuff where I'm like, I'll never use it because I paid them half and they disappeared. or they delivered it like 3 months late. I'm like, oh, the comic's already 20 pages done, and here's page 1 from this random person I forgot about.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you. So there's probably, you know, I'd say like 3 or 4 different Wizard of Oz theme books that have come out, you know, this year or maybe the end of last year, and they all give the characters unique abilities. You know, going through, you know, give us a bit of a take on why you gave the Scarecrow the ability he has, and Dorothy's abilities, and Toto's, and we haven't really delved into, you know, Tin Man or the Cowardly Lion, but, you know, what inspired your take on these characters?
Yeah, so yeah, all of it's very heavily anime inspired. Like I said, Ninja Scroll. So I wanted Dorothy to have some of that, like what Jubei has in Ninja Scroll. You know, that total badass. And I'm hoping that people are getting that from Dorothy, that she is that total badass. Of course, there's going to be people that are going to give her a hard time. Like, and the witch, even the witch's defeat of her was kind of cheating. If you know, when you see how it happens the first time they fight. But I wanted people to be like, okay, that's what I like in anime, when that main character is just so over the top and fun to watch. And of course, there are times where they're going to have hardships, people that are too very difficult to defeat by themselves. That's why she's got, you know, her friends. And so the Scarecrow, you know, it took me a while. I was like, okay, well, there's so many takes on Scarecrow, not only in Oz, but also like DC and all these things. So I was like, okay, well, there's not really any samurai Scarecrow. And I look at samurai Scarecrow, that's kind of interesting. You know, Scarecrow wearing the armor. And I was like, well, what if, you know, I was like, I want Oz is going to be mostly ghosts and demons. And so I was like, well, it would be kind of cool if he's a ghost. And so like it's like a possessed Scarecrow wearing the armor. You'll get more of his backstory in the next issue. Issue 2 is still they're still kind of meeting each other, and issue 3 is when you'll get his backstory. But you know, so just wanted to show that he's got these powers. So his powers are, you know, having the roots that make up the armor, that hold up the armor, all that. Instead of straw, it's all like tree stuff. And he's able to like launch it out, use it as a sharp object, impale the enemies with it. And he has the 3 crows that just hang out with him. And they're like really huge, not giant size, but very large crows. And he's able to control them and have them attack his enemies. But the biggest thing is that Dorothy finds out, you'll see it right there in that first page, is even if someone kills the crows, he's able to revive them. So, you know, he can keep throwing them at his enemies and they get blown up, and he just brings them back to life and they're back on top of his enemies. That's
amazing. I love that.
I do too. I mean, this is
so cool.
What a looking book. Oh my gosh. It
is.
Really
it's fun. I've voiced my opinion. You know, I'm not the world's biggest fan of anime, but a lot of the books that I've seen that have been inspired by anime, I really dig the style. I do, because you can just tell that it's influenced by it, right? But it's still your own style for your book. You know, I really like the art of this book. You know, you're starting, some creators like yourself are starting to change my mind about certain things, you know. But I really like what you've done here, and this is great. So I'm sorry. Let me let you continue.
No. I totally understand. I know with anime, it's hit and miss. There's some animes that are really just like, whoa, what was I watching? You know, I just spent so many hours watching this, and you know.
Yeah.
And I understand that. There's some that are just boring. There's some that are just too over the top, and some that have tragic endings and stuff like that. And I understand, you know, it's hard to get into them. If that's your first one, that's all what it is. What your first one or your first couple that you see. I was very lucky. My first one was Fist of the North Star, and I don't know if you've ever seen that one. That's really over the top, but it's so much fun, and it's just like action packed nonstop. And that for me was like, okay, wow, this is awesome. And so from then I just tried to watch stunts that's similar to that. So I think if you read the reviews, find out what it's about first, see what people say in common. I mean, if you don't mind spoilers, because everyone loves to spoil stuff. But
right.
Half the time when I read reviews, there's spoilers, and that's like the hardest thing.
Yeah, and you know, I would like to. So a great fan of the show, a good friend of mine, Eric Hawkins. He did it. Yeah, he did it. He was a guest on our show, and his first comic book that he published and everything, it was the Zombie Full World of Oz. And his is like a steampunk themed take on it. So, you know, I'd say, you know, between the two of you, you guys definitely captured me with both of your unique styles on a story that I think all of us at one point in our life, loved. Whatever age you are, you were exposed to Wizard of Oz. It's almost like a part of our life, and it's so cool to see something, a trademark that's so old, given new life and new genres, and it's cool to keep those things alive. And thank you for letting your imagination delve into that world, because this is so cool.
Yeah,
I'm like really into this, man.
Yeah, and it's such a unique take on it too, on an old classic. Like no one's ever seen before. Just amazing, fantastic, buddy, fantastic.
Thank you.
So what does the future hold for you? I mean, what's next down the road? I know you told us about Patriotica and some of your other characters and where you're going to go with that. But is there anything new in the works?
Yes, for sure, and it's actually related to Oz. So, I was thinking, I'll just I'm going to have her have the 4 chapters. Right now the plan is 4 chapters, so I should be able to finish it in 4 chapters. And I kind of, it makes it easier when I have an ending in mind. Like Patriotica, I kind of want it to be ongoing, and I did realize I have to still come up with an ending for that particular story arc. So I did do that. I do have that going now with the new chapters. But Oz from the very beginning had an ending that I already have in mind. But then I realized, if the character is really popular, I'm not going to take away a character.
Yeah.
And, I want to do something with her still, and I was like, oh, what can I do? And the first thing that came to mind is one of my favorite old Disney movies is Alice in Wonderland. So
nice.
The next thing coming out, I had a promo at San Diego Comic-Con. It's Samurai of Wonderland, with Alice as the protagonist, and she's a half vampire fighting her way through Wonderland and her sanity, and that is set in the same world. It's just a different island. So we'll find out, Oz is one island, then there's Wonderland, that's the other island. And so, that one I'm thinking I'll probably try out the 48-page thing, because you're not the only one to mention it to me. That it might be something to try out, just to see if I can do the story in the 48 pages. Write it up first and see how it feels. Or maybe it'll be 2 48-page, just for that one. And then the third one, so I figured, okay, well, after taking that one, I got to do the third. What's that?
It's tough to, like Brian Pulido's able to create a self-contained Lady Death story in 48 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, we're working on that with She Now. And I'm like, oh, and similar to you, like, do I do this as 238 page stories and get it done quick, or should I just do it as the one? If I can try to, and we're struggling with that now, is to contain the story within 48 pages, because as you said, that ain't easy. I mean, you're doing 4, with the Oz stories, you're doing 4 24 pages.
Right, and it might even spill over to the 5th one. So.
Yep. So it's tough. I hear what you're saying, but that seems a format that really works well, though, if you can do it. I mean, but The Wizard of Oz is kind of an epic story as well, though.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
so,
right.
It really is, and especially now you're bringing all these samurai elements in, and you're not just bringing the Wicked Witch of the West, you're bringing this whole samurai lore and everything like that in, too. So it's a lot of, there's a lot of story there. But I just want to, because I'm just curious about people that can do a self-contained story, you know what I mean? Like a film.
Right. Right. Yeah, 48 pages it's really tough, even for 24 pages, to contain everything in one go. But that's also why I kind of like the 24 pages, because then it's like, okay, I got time to do the next one, as opposed to feeling like I'm forced to end it on 48 pages, as opposed to, okay, now you got to buy the next 48 pages. Try to do it 24, 24, 24. It'll be a lot easier that way, and for writing and just planning it out, and for the overall story arcs. But yeah, excuse me. With Wonderland, I'll probably do 48 page. I might be 2 48-pagers just to try it out. And then the last one, or not the last one, but the third one, and that's much further out. I just had artwork come into me yesterday for it, is Samurai of Neverland. And that'll be my take on that, also having Wendy be the badass samurai. So, and of course, the master plan is, as you'd expect, is all 3 of them will come together and go on an adventure. So first, I'm going to establish the three of them, and then that one might be either ongoing or again, 5 parts, 3 parts, and then 3 parts. But that's the plan right now, is get up to that one. Where I have
I love that your chapters are your different characters. I love that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You really focus on the character and get to know the character, and because it's almost like that character's book. But then Dorothy goes, and then Dorothy has. You got your for the second. Well, she's got Toto with her, of course. So it's Dorothy and Toto. And then issue two is the Scarecrow. Or is issue two
right,
the Tin Man?
The Scare Demon, right?
Yeah.
So issue 2 is the Scare Demon. You get introduced to the Tin Man, but you don't find too much out about him.
Right.
And then issue 3, of course, is the Were Lioness. It's like a werewolf, but a lion and female. So that's the Were Lioness, and she's the samurai character that we meet in the 3rd chapter. And then the 4th one, of course, is dealing with the big bad. But I don't want to get into spoilers.
Yeah, don't spoil it now. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I can't. This is so cool. That's why I love doing this show. I mean, the stuff we discover, going through these crowdfunding sites, and then just meeting, great creators like Ron through Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and it's like such a great exposure, man. Like now you're on my list, man. I'm gonna be following what you're doing. This is great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to follow you on. Let me see, on Twitter. Can you give us what your Twitter is and your Instagram and all?
Yes. So for Twitter, our Twitter is Mount Olympus Comics. So twitter.com/MT, like Mount, just the MT abbreviated, Olympus Comics. That's our Twitter. And then our Instagram is Mount Olympus Comics. So
got it.
Yeah, Mount Olympus Comics. But really, if you want if you use it, the one I update the most is our Facebook page. That's where you get everything most updated, just because that's where I manage up most of my artists, actually. So usually wherever I meet my artists, whether it's DeviantArt, ArtStation, Instagram, I always try to get them to sign up to Facebook and just let me all manage them in one spot, because it's just so much easier than having to answer to them through DeviantArt or this or email. Because email, I'll get flooded with email from everything, publisher, printer, not publisher, but printer, Kickstarter, everything, all these emails, and I'm like, okay, well, at least on Facebook, I know 80% of it is all me giving instruction to artists, and it's all in one place. So that's how I do most of my artist management, and so I try to get everybody to come over to Facebook, because that's where I'm promoting. If somebody gives me something really cool, I'm going to drop it in real quick into my personal Facebook where everybody can see it, and then eventually clean it up to put it on the Mount Olympus Comics page for Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is great for crowdfunding.
Oh, yeah.
Like our biggest amount of support came. I went on Comic Artist Pro Secrets for the Indiegogo, and we just blew up when EBS got us all his fans and stuff. But with the first campaign that we did on Kickstarter, it was all really primarily through Facebook. And I was hitting Instagram and Twitter and pushing that, but these people it was through my personal page too. So, but these people, like your friends, like, come on, guys, can you support? Here's our new, you know what I mean? And they did. They really did.
Nice. Yeah, it's tough for sure. And Twitter and Instagram, I still haven't really cracked either one of those. I think I'm getting a little better with Instagram. I'm getting much more likes and follows and stuff, but it's still, like, compared to what I have on Facebook, it's much, much less. The only frustrating thing about Facebook is they keep restricting stuff. They keep making things harder. Like if I show all of my paid ads, if I have any bit of cleavage showing, my girls show cleavage, Facebook will reject it. And it's so frustrating, because sometimes it's like the tiniest bit of cleavage, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like, this is just like someone wearing a shitload hung t-shirt, and they're like, oh, this is inappropriate.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Especially with Patriotica, because she's got the more sexy stuff going on, and putting an ad for Patriotica is really tough, because I would say about 80% of my Facebook ads get rejected for Patriotica. So the nice thing about Dorothy, because her stuff is more covered, just the art style is more acceptable, or maybe the colors are kind of throwing off the censor, because she's showing cleavage too. But I think the colors might be fooling the censor or something. I don't know, because I'm able to use those for later.
The censor.
I've definitely gravitated now more towards Twitter. I think once you get the hang of it, you just feel so accomplished.
Yeah, but there's things on Twitter. I mean, you look at some of the people going after J. Scott Campbell and Adam Hughes.
Well, they do. Yeah, because that Twitter's is that vocal one. You know, I feel like that's the most vocal social media. You know, Instagram. I mean, Instagram would be great, but I mean, you can't put links or anything in. So like, you have to copy the link and then paste it. You know, they should make it so that like because you know, I would post promos for the shows. You know, put the promos in on Instagram and this and that. But it'd be great if the people actually could just click on a link, and they don't let you do that.
And it's very frustrating because that actually is probably the worst thing about Instagram is you can say, here's this Kickstarter. People can be like, that's really cool. But if you don't have a link, it's just not going to work. It's just people, if you don't have something to, there's a few people that are going to go in there and copy paste and go through the trouble of trying to get to that or look or search for it on Google. But if there is no clickable link, and it's such a like golden thing, especially if you're doing email blasts or you have someone sharing you on their campaign, that's something that a lot of Kickstarter people do sometimes, and I recommend is having people share. And on their Kickstarter page, or not the Kickstarter page, but their Kickstarter updates, if the link isn't clickable, it's as if they didn't share. You know, people just aren't going to copy paste, especially if you're on your phone. It's so hard to copy paste a link. You're just like, okay, forget it. I can't click on it. Maybe if it's really awesome, they might go and Google it, but if the link's there, it's so much easier. They click on it, they're like, oh, this looks cool. They're going to back it. Boom, it's done. But if they have to do that one extra step, it's just totally, you know. That's why Instagram fails hard, because you have to go back. The only link you have is on your profile page. So you have to tell them, hey, go check out my profile. But if you're trying to promote two things, forget about it. Whichever one doesn't have the link, it's just not going to happen. And that's why I like Facebook. But the problem with Facebook now, and you're probably aware, is if you write something up and you put a link in it, it's going to get about 10% of the views as if you didn't have a link in your post. So, you know, you got to do the whole post it in the comments. But even that's starting to act up now, where I've noticed that when you post a link in a comment, you just don't see it until you click view all comments. So again, it's an extra step that people aren't going to do. So it's kind of frustrating, and that's where, you know, the paid ads come in. But it's, you know,
now have you tried the paid ads on Facebook?
Oh, absolutely, that's what I've been doing since the beginning.
Oh, you have? Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. And they work? Do they work? Do you find results?
They work, but every single year they get worse. I would say every few months they get worse and worse. Worse results, spending more money. I see those numbers going lower and lower. And the most aggravating thing is, you know, it'll tell me, okay, how many times you're paying for how many times someone looked at it, or how many times people clicked on it. If you're paying by how many times people look at it, the most frustrating thing is when I'm seeing it in my timeline, I'm like, oh my God, it's charging me for me looking at it myself. You know, so it's and it'll pop up in my timeline every now and then. I'm like, it's ridiculous. And what about the people who aren't interested and they keep seeing it? You know, so those are the kind of things that are very frustrating with the ads. And I know there's workarounds, you know, there's all these tricks to it, and it's a whole science trying to learn how to do the Facebook ads. I just think it is worth taking the time to, you know, figure out all the stuff and keeping up to date. That's something I've fallen behind again. There's always like new things that they're telling me. Now that just this last week, somebody was telling me that Kickstarter is like a hot word. That if you have the word Kickstarter in your post on Facebook, you're much less likely to get it noticed. So I'm like, I can't even use the word Kickstarter. So it's gotta be, check out my Samurai of Oz campaign.
Wow.
You know, so it becomes until campaign becomes a hot word. You know, so.
Yeah, you're learning that, you know, being the promotion is a full-time job.
Oh, absolutely. But it's like such an important job, though.
Right? Yeah. To put, you know, to be the production manager for your book, I'm sure you're doing, you know what I mean, to put it all together. But you know, this is a lot of work. I mean, the reports are fantastic, aren't they? When someone comes up to you, you know, with Patriotic and wants you to sign it or something. I mean, that's how I feel. There's nothing like it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Who's ever said it's easy? You know?
No. Yep. I've got a funny story though. You mentioned someone coming up with Patriotica. It was like my second ever convention where I was selling Patriotica, and it was Las Vegas, amazing Las Vegas. And I was sitting there. It was the very first day of the show. I was kind of looking through my inventory, and I hear somebody say, "Hey, this is a pretty good-looking book." And I was like, oh, and I look up, and Todd McFarlane's standing there looking at Patriotica #1.
Oh, nice.
And I was so
What?
starstruck and shocked, and he was like, keep it up, kid, keep up the good work. And I was like, oh my God. And I was just so starstruck. I was like, I'm a huge fan, thank you. And that's all I could say. And I was, if I could go back, I would be like, hey, let me give you my book. Keep it, take it, check it out. You know,
Yeah, your buddy Mark Silvestri loves it too.
because now there's always like a million people in his line. There's no way I can talk to him. It's always like super. And he's very rarely at shows, at least the shows that I go to. So it's one of those things. But I'll never forget it. And it was such a cool thing that he came up and just was checking out my book at my booth. I even just had taken. I wish I'd taken a picture. So now anytime anyone that like I had seen starting to do something similar, so I took a picture with him. I was like, I gotta take a picture with him. I won't miss it this time.
That's right.
So how many
Now,
conventions are you hitting a year?
Yeah.
Still, like about 6. It's just I got my wife and daughter, spend time with them, and then the Kickstarter. Whenever I've found, for me anyways, when I have a Kickstarter running, I gotta be very careful when I do a convention. So one thing I'd say, the first few days and the last few days are critical that you are sitting in front of your computer, for me anyways. Advertising, answering questions, just being on top of your Kickstarter, like, really working on it.
Yeah.
But, in the middle, when it's that dead time, there are people that are incredible at making things happen in that dead time. But, for the most part, that's when I'll be more inclined to do a show. Because that's something, hey, even if it's probably going to be dead during the middle, I might as well try to do a show, maybe get a few people to check it out. I know some people, they have huge success advertising at shows. I still haven't figured that out. I tried using that QVC code on a flyer. That didn't work. And I've tried, putting the flyers out. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what the best way. I might try setting up a tablet where people can actually see the campaign. I've seen that where people can pledge right there, and you give them a little something. Hey, if you pledge now on this tablet at my table, I saw this at a couple shows, then you'll get this extra right now. So yeah, they can still back out, which is kind of a bummer. But at least, it's something that, hey, most likely there's a good chance they might not back out, and they'll get to see your actual campaign by looking at it.
So you have a tablet, or you've seen people with a tablet. Nile, are you familiar with this? And it has your campaign there, and people can pledge.
Well, they'll have to log into their own Kickstarter. So you'll have the Kickstarter page on there, and it won't be logged in.
You show them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they log in themselves, and then they pledge, and then they, you ask them to log out so that the next person can do it too. Yeah. Go back to the page. It's basically on a browser. So any tablet, you just get into the browser, and that way you've got people signing up in front of you. I think that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Work out the details, but I think that's a neat way to get people to sign up at a show if they really like what they see. So, and also to show them what's going on, because you're able to scroll through and be like, hey, these are, because you're not always going to have the demo, or you might not have the whole book, but this way at least you can show what's on the campaign page, and that might be a good way. It's also kind of neat. I think it draws attention to see something vibrant, like a screen on your table. But again, I haven't tried it. I think it's something I'm going to look into. And there's always new things. There's always new things to watch out for, to try out for the Kickstarter campaigns.
Yeah, I've seen it where they've had they actually make a sign and it's like pledge for my Kickstarter today, and they have a laptop sitting there on their table, right? And
exactly.
I mean, every time I've seen it, they've obviously had more than one person working their table, and someone would stand there and get people up. And I don't really know what the rewards were because I was just looking at it and didn't really pay too much attention. But I did see at a couple shows that I've been to, and I feel like someone did that at New York Comic Con. Someone had something set up to promote. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, it's a really good idea. Very good idea.
Yeah. Anyway, as you said, as Ron says, any way to promote it, promote the hell out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You gotta keep promoting it, man. That's the thing.
That's the secret. Because I see some people, they'll drop their Kickstarter, and then they'll drop out. They'll just disappear for 30 days and show up the last day and be like, hey guys, don't forget my Kickstarter.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They hit it
biggest
hard,
thing-
right? They hit it hard, and then they disappear, and then it's like, oh, hey, everyone, and it's a constant thing. You have to make a
yeah.
presence every day. You got to post every day. If you can make a
absolutely.
live stream go every day, I mean, look at like what I look at what you're doing, Ron, and like and then we always talk about Brian Polito because he's created this great system and this whole business that he has. And I mean, you seem to be kind of on that same path, but you're coming up with some very unique stretch goal items, rewards, concepts on how people get these rewards. Some of it's just a lottery, right? So you're coming up with neat, unique things that some of these other guys are doing that are doing this full time, and you're just setting this all up. So I mean, man, this is cool, dude. It's kind of like seeing you go on this path of creating like your own universe with the whole crowdfunding thing. And, talking about processes and stuff and all this great stuff you're doing, I'm going to lead into this. What are the things you've learned? What are the things you will never do again?
That's a good question. Never do again. Let's see. Well, this is applied across the board for anything with art, but it does apply to people doing crowdfunding. Is paying full amount up front. Those guys that disappear. So be careful about paying full amount up front. I know some artists insist, and that's something that I would say is not to pay full amount up front on art. Another thing that I would say I wouldn't do, that's tough because there's a lot of things I say that you should do, but things I would say I wouldn't, don't, this is one, and I see it all the time, and I feel so awful when I find out that a friend's done this. When you launch a campaign on Kickstarter, I don't know how on earth they find your email. Because even before I used to put it up on my campaign, I would get a ton of emails of people being, oh, well, congrats on launching your Kickstarter. We can get you funded. You can get blah, blah, blah. So, sign up to this and blah, blah, blah. And you'll get a lot. There's like so many companies that do that. I just got one yesterday, the most shocking one I've ever gotten. They said, if you sign up with us, all you have to do is cancel your campaign and start all over. And we'll get you way more than you have right now. And it's all copy-paste. They have no idea who you are, what your campaign is. But I'm like, are you kidding me? You want me to cancel my $30,000 campaign and some company I've never heard of to manage my campaign? And it's kind of one of those things where I wish I could tell people. All except for two of those things, I tried them. Because, in the beginning, you try everything. I tried a lot of them, all except for two, and I tried about 20. They were all complete waste of money. The one the biggest trick that I got from one of them was this one that said, we're going to get your post noticed at least 1,000 times. And I was like, okay, if 1,000 people see my post, that might be worth it. It was like Fiverr. It was off that website, Fiverr.com, where everything costs $5 or so. And I was like, all right, I'll try it out. You had to pay like $10 for 1,000. So I was like, $10 sounds like pretty worthwhile for 1,000 views on my post. And so I did it, and I got my 1,000, almost exactly 1,000. I was like, oh, red flag. It's almost exactly 1,000. It's like 1,006. I was like, I normally get 6, and now I've got 1,006 on Twitter. And so I was like, let me go see who these 1,006 are. Oh, it's John Smith 1, John Smith 2. John Smith.
Oh, really?
I will tell you, there was at least, at some point I saw 7, 9, John, it wasn't John Smith, but there were different names, but they had a numeration on them. And all of these accounts, so some of them did have unique names, and I was like, okay, this person seems like a unique person, like, John Doe. But when I went through their account, they had been the entire account was just Kickstarter shared or liked, and they were, that's all it was.
Yeah, and everyone who follows them are the same guys, same 1,000 people, so they all share each other, and
So, and it's all done it all happened overnight. So that 1,000 people was all one guy using some kind of automated script. I found out about it later. There's like an automated script where you are able to like yourself 1,000 times, and with 1,000 accounts, you manage all at once. And so that's what this $10 went to, and I was like, okay, great. So really only 6 people saw it, and 1,000 bots. It's basically all bot accounts. And so that was one of the ones I came across. I actually saw several like that on Fiverr. And then there's those the other ones that are I wish I could remember the names that were okay. They were all okay. That's the thing. a lot of them were just okay. And there's one, and I'm gonna try to look it up before we finish it, so I can recommend it. And comics, yeah, I'll look it up. But that one was one where they had a lot of tutorials and tips, and they were free. And that actually was like, okay, they have free stuff on. This is when I was already gonna give up. But I was like, they have free stuff. I feel like I've learned something from their free stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a few bucks. So again, their stuff, when I paid for their thing, and the paid stuff was just okay. It was more tips, and a lot of the tips I realized were stuff I could just Google and find out for myself. If you spend enough time on Google, you'll find a lot of great advice. Especially now. This was back 2 years ago, before a lot of people were doing the Kickstarter. So that's the first thing I'll recommend. Instead of spending all that money on these people that are trying to get you to sign up for the program, just Google. Everything I found on Google. There was like maybe one or two little things here. But even that one that was really good for me, well, not really good, but it was okay. They would make you listen to their videos, and their videos were about 10 minutes long, and about 8 minutes of the video was promoting Kickstarters that they were that had signed up with them, which that's cool. But it's 8 minutes that I'm like, oh, get back to work, and then the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait, if you do this and this, that's pretty. And I was, oh, okay.
Yeah, but no one has brought that up, so thank you. No one has mentioned that. Right now, the 54 should be done. No one has mentioned that about those, like joining. We'll build up your social media, or we'll get your campaign out to 1,000 people, and it's one guy just sending it to himself and taking your $10, and he probably does that 1,000 times a day.
Oh yeah.
Because they have like.
Well, there's so many paid services out there. I mean, there's even I know a guy that goes and he does like tutorials, and you sign up for a class to learn how to crowdfund. And I mean, there's.
That's probably the guy. What's his name? That's exactly what I'm thinking of. The guy who teaches the classes. So that was the one where it was okay, but it was, again, it's stuff I could have found on Google, and I'm like, God, I spent this.
Exactly.
I forget what it was per month. It wasn't cheap. It was like $40 a month. So I paid for that first month, and I was like, oh, that's $40 that I'm not getting back. And,
he actually wants to come on the show.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Well, we should bring him on, and then we could just be real, like, okay, so why do people need you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And my problem with his thing is that it feels very bot-ish too, because a lot of it like is automated responses, and I was never able to directly contact him, even though I messaged him on Facebook and everything, and I was like, what's going on here? Why can't he just respond to my simple questions? And it'd always be like, oh, we can get you double of what your Kickstarter is. That was like his emails, and I'm like, you're gonna get double of my $50,000. All right, cool. Yeah, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna do that?
And what happens if you don't? Do I get my $40 back, you bastard?
Yeah, exactly.
My $2. Give me back my $250. So it's one of those things. He had good tutorials. There was great free stuff on his site. Since then they've taken away the free stuff. I went back to and checked it out. I was like, oh, that was like the one thing. And I understand, now you pay, you get some of the free tips. But again, all those free tips are now available. Just searching around.
Just go through our episodes. Go through our episodes. You'll probably find the 90% of it, from the real world experience. Now, I do want to get Ron. What's your next convention? How can people get out there and actually meet you?
Oh, so my next convention is New York Comic Con. I'll be there on the Thursday in Artist Alley just for the one day, but the rest of the days I'll be wandering around. If anyone wants to meet or anything, I'll be promoting Valkyrie Savers at that time. And also just for people to check out my Etsy store, all the comics we have on there, previous issues. And that'll be my next one. I've never done New York, so I'm pretty excited. It'll be my only East Coast show this year. Last year I did Keystone. And, well, I'm not going to get into that. But this year I'm doing New York. And so I think that'll be a fun show. Never done it. I've always wanted to do it. I've heard wonderful things about it. So I definitely...
Oh, it's definitely a fun show. And please, find us.
Yeah, Nile, Scala, and I will be there Thursday, won't we? Won't you be in I'll be at Artist Alley, L20, next to Brian Polito, and I think Scala, you'll be sitting with me, won't you, for a little bit?
Yeah, I guess I'll sit there. I don't know. Will there be coffee?
Well, if there's coffee, then I'm coming over too.
Yeah, come over, hang out. Everyone's welcome at TUCCI'S booth. Just sneak in the booze. Of course, Frank Amazing's coming. Nothing would get done without Frank Amazing.
Look at this. Look at this. Frank
Fantastic.
Amazing is our secret producer, Ron, and Ron's like, "Who's what is this? What's going on?"
He's the voice you randomly hear.
Ah,
Or when you see me turn, I'm usually mouthing something to him.
Like,
Don't eat over that. Get that up.
yeah.
Don't
well, he
you
was
go
the
to
first
the
one to
bathroom.
contact me, so I know. I've heard the name. I know the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's a great guy.
He's a good guy.
And then
So
after
Ron,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were gonna say
I
something.
was just gonna say after New York, I'll be at Tucson, and there I'll be for the full 3 days. And I see Lee asked me about it. Lee Ditsworth. He's awesome. He was the very first person to buy my very first Patriotica issue. So I
Very
always remember.
cool.
And yeah, so I'll be at Tucson. I love that show. That show is, I don't know, it's driving distance, which is a huge advantage. And it's just a cool show where, you know, you're able to talk to artists. It's not too crazy, but they have some amazing people there every time. Like every year, they have some really wonderful guests. So I highly recommend it if you're in the area. And,
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to be a guest there this year.
Oh, awesome! Awesome! I'll see you there then. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah, it's a very fun show.
I'm looking forward to hanging out with you, buddy.
Yeah, and it's great for the fans. Like I went as a fan for a couple years, and then as being at the table, they are amazing to their people at the table. Because I had just done another show before the first time I did Tucson, and that show was like I had to go get my own table out in the back area and bring it from there. I had to go get my own chairs. I had to find where the people were to sign up. Everything was so awful. But with Tucson, you know, the Politos and Mike Olivares and his wife, they were just amazing. And I was like, this show is so nice. And this is the way a show can be. Wow. You know, it's so, they were so great to the vendors. And so that was like a really wonderful experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, the show's
I went a few years. Yeah, we went a few years back, and I can't wait to go back. I'm so happy they asked me back.
Yeah, it'd be great to meet you in person. That's awesome. And
Oh
I'll
yeah,
see you in New York
we'll meet you in
too.
New York, and then but we're gonna hang out in whatchamacallit.
Tucson.
We'll hang out in Tucson for sure, bro.
And we've got, oh no, it's a special appearance from Frank Amazing. Frank Amazing was just on screen.
Oh, I miss Frank Amazing. I turned away for a second looking at a text message.
Scott?
That was Frank Amazing sent me a text, and I think that was a self-portrait of him.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
the hat on.
He loves popsicles. Yeah, Mopsy, ScotchCon is going to be at Baltimore.
Yes.
The Baltimore ScotchCon.
Yep, you'll miss that one, but we're gonna have some kind of
We'll do Alley Ale. Don't worry. We'll do the New York Alley Ale. We'll find a random alley and we'll drink 40s out of some paper bags.
Word.
We'll duct tape them to our hands.
Well, I thought Reed Pop shows allow alcohol. I know C2E2, there was people walking around way too tipsy.
Yeah. We saw that. I remember seeing them too, and they're like, "You want one?" I'm like, "No, I gotta work."
Exactly. Yeah. But the scary thing is when they have the open container, though. So I don't have any problem with people drinking at the shows. My problem is A, when they have too much, and B, when they have an open container, because I can't imagine the horror of them spilling a container on original art.
Yeah, did you ever see that? I mean, they'll do that. They'll walk by and they'll
Billy?
Starbucks coffee right next to the books on your table or the art. You know what I mean? And it's laid there. They saw books. It's like, whoa, get rid of it, please.
Yeah, when they place their more overly moisturized cup right on top of your book.
Yeah, exactly.
That's ruined. That book is ruined. So I've learned everything has to be bag and boarded, you know, that's in the reach.
Or like you invite them to sit with you and then they freaking drop their large cup of coffee. Isn't that ridiculous, Billy?
Oh.
I hate when people do that. Unbelievable.
Well,
You're freezing, bro. You're now the frozen finger and eye guy.
Yeah, why am I freezing up? I don't know.
I don't know, you boomer. You dang boomer.
It's not me.
It's you, bro.
Boomer.
You're a boomer.
It's my interwebs.
All right, so guys, we are at 10:30.
5G, man.
That 5G.
I know. We're sorry, Ron. We keep talking.
Yeah.
We always go over. We're only our plan was supposed to do a 45-minute show, and then we said, okay, maybe an hour. And we always go an hour and a half. So, sorry, if you have work to do, like, oh my God, these guys will never let you off.
No.
But I
appreciate
do, my
being on the
friends.
show.
I definitely do have some work to get done. So, Ron, thank you so much for coming on. I do want to give, as we do on our show, we have our crowdfunding call out. So tonight, we have this lovely Scrimshaw Volume 3. The creators reached out to us. Unfortunately, there's 13 hours left to go with this campaign, and we weren't able to get them on the show in time. As you guys are aware, we usually are booked out pretty far in advance. But I'm going to play this video for you guys to check this out. There's 13 hours to go. If you like it, help them and support them.
Yeah, and they're
Hey everyone,
funded.
Eric Borden, writer-creator of Scrimshaw here. First up, for all of you who are familiar with Scrimshaw, I'd like to say thank you. Because of your support, we've become one of the longest-running titles in Alterna Comics history. Now, for all of you who are new to Scrimshaw, let me tell you a little bit about it. Scrimshaw is a post-apocalyptic dystopian adventure. It takes place 2 generations after the melt of the polar ice caps. The dust is settled from the wars over the remaining resources, after which Japan rises as a world power. And they rally under the edict that science shall be our salvation. Now corporations step forth to usher in that new era, and what could go wrong? One of those corporations thinks it's a great idea to genetically modify whales to be over 200 feet long and dump them in the ocean. And that has a catastrophic effect on the ecosystem. Our captain, Hans Tanaka, he reluctantly runs a fishing vessel called the Runaway Horse, and he's gathered his crew from all over the Pacific. Places like Japan, obviously, but also Mexico, New Zealand, American Samoa. And these folks have come together as a loose-knit family on the ship. The action in issue 1 takes off when Captain Tanaka steals an octopus with special properties. And so naturally, Tanto Corporation wants its property back, and the action takes off from there. This campaign on Kickstarter is for the follow-up to that. It's called Tears of the Sonoran Sea. And that follows the crew as they connect with Mariposa's sister in Mexico. And, well, I don't want to give too much away. So, we hope we can count on your support. We hope you'll join the crew. And thank you.
All right. That's awesome. Now, the art in this is amazing. And I kind of noticed something in the background to his video, which I don't know if that... Yeah, it is. He's got the Alterna Comics back there,
right.
Billy. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that.
That's our pals.
Yes.
Peter Cimetti.
Peter Cimetti, our good pal.
Well, we've got to get them on. I mean, afterwards, when they're about to ship it, I mean, they made their goal. I mean, this looks amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Got a little Kevich, Bill Plimpton influence. The art is wonderful.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very unique.
Yeah. I love this stuff. This is so great. What a great show.
I know, man. Such a good show. Look at that mustache. So, yeah, guys, if you get a chance, check it out. There's 13 hours left. Maybe we'll have them on. Maybe we'll just talk about the campaign, talk about... what we got. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's in the stars, man, how they're aligning. But again, Ron, thanks so much for coming on, dude. Your artwork, looking back at all the campaigns you've done, what is it, 8 under your belt? I mean, the quality, man, you definitely take a lot of time in the quality, researching artists and stuff. I mean, if you're open to it, I don't want to, put it out there for you, but I think for any up and comers out there that may have any questions on processes, it seems like you're really getting it down. You have it down. I shouldn't even say you're getting it down. You have it down.
Yeah, you have it. He's got it. Yeah.
He's got it down.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on the show. And yes, of course, I'm on Facebook. That's if they want to add Ron Zabala. That's where I'm at. And for a while I was putting tips on there, but it's always like some things work for some people and some things don't. That's the biggest thing. So you got to understand what might work for one person, it might not for another. But I try to give them tips like watching out for those guys that spam you at the beginning and making sure to promote every day. You have to post every day. It doesn't even if it's just simple. There's just like a million things you can do and research. Another big one, if you don't mind me saying it.
No, please.
Make sure you back other campaigns. You'll learn from it. It's good karma, and it's also good for people to see, like, hey, you know what? This guy's actually part of the community. He's helping people out. I can see he's backed X amount. I've backed like 250, but if you back like 4, 5, 10, whatever, you'll see what kind of updates they're doing, what they're going through, what hardships they're going through, what things they are going well. You learn a lot, and you're supporting the community. So it's like a huge learning experience just backing other people. I see people who have never backed anyone, and they launched a campaign. And I'm like, come on, really, man? Just back a few first, see how it goes, and it's karma, and and it's a you get something out of it too. You get a sweet book, along with the learning experience. So
yep, and even share it if you can. If you can't back it, and we get it, but share it. Like, guys out there, guys and gals, please share Ron's book. Share Samurai Ops 2, because let's get into 50. You got time? Let's at least, if you can pledge, please pledge. But if you can't, at least share it. Share on any social media. And this guy's a great guy, and he's doing everything right. He's got a beautiful book. It's an awesome, fantastical take on an old classic, and it's like I said, and it reads like a damn cartoon. It really does. It reads like it's like an anime, and just well done, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, thanks so much. And again, make sure to follow Ron and hit him up on Twitter, everything. We'll have links to everything in the description of the show. Once everything processes through, you'll be able to click on those links. We'll have his Etsy page and all of that. So, make sure to check out what he's doing. Follow him. If you're going to be at New York Comic Con on Thursday, be a great chance to meet him. And I believe you'll still be there. So you'll actually be at a booth on Thursday, but you will be hanging out for the convention, correct? For the next following days.
I'll be there from Friday through Sunday, just hanging around. Mostly Artist Alley. I love meeting the artists and talking with the artists. So I'll probably mostly be in Artist Alley the full Friday through Sunday. And Thursday I'll be set up. I'll have my exclusives for the show in Artist Alley. So
I can't wait to pick up some copies of your books, man. It looks awesome.
Hey, thank you.
Looks awesome.
And then Tucson after that. And I'll probably have these scrolls. So if you like the little scroll, just forgot to mention, I've got these full-size scrolls which are on the campaign. They're 16 by 21. It's like a full extended size scroll with the artwork. So instead of 11 by 17 prints, I thought it'd be cool to have two scrolls in fabric. So it's kind of nice.
Nice. Very cool,
so
man.
I'll be there in New York.
Very cool. All right, everyone. Thanks again. And Billy, please, I was about to say it, but I would like you to do the honor of tomorrow night's guest.
Tomorrow night's guest, speaking of the New York Comic Con, and Ron, if we may, is the great Mike Nagan. Mike, who runs Artist Alley, but he also does, and he's everyone makes that monster. Oh, and you're going to see it, Ron. You're going to see how crazy it is. And he helps it run smoothly. He devotes himself to the artist at every whim. He's on the floor. Very rarely have I seen a manager as engaged as he is. I mean, he's up there, Nile, like with Mark Nathan from the Baltimore Comic Con, and of course our pal Mitch Halleck from the Terrificon. There are very few people that are like that, and it's so great to see. Mike's like that with the Tucson Con. It's great to see that they're these really engaged managers, floor managers of the show, and I'm just so excited to have him on. He'll answer all your questions about the New York Comic Con, and this thing is a beast. He's like running Disney World.
Oh, I know. It's unbelievable. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk with him tomorrow night. I mean, and for all those creators out there, I mean, that's like the next evolution, If you really want to get your name out there, I mean, you gotta, start hitting some conventions, Even if it's just a couple a year. I mean, as you're growing, that's what you do. It's like any business. They're called trade shows. And really, essentially, a comic convention's the same thing for this industry. You set up your booth, you've got your products, and you just get your name out there, And another great way to meet other artists like Ron, I'm sure. I mean, you go around, you might find some new talent. Next thing you know, you found a couple people to collaborate with. Who knows,
Absolutely.
Right?
A lot of the artists I've hired, I met at conventions first.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to meet artists too. If you're looking for artists, conventions are the perfect place to go, and just to go to different conventions. Sometimes conventions will have the same guests over and over, or the same artists because it's the local guys. But if you're able to travel a little further out, that's why I'm looking forward to New York Comic Con, because I'm sure there'll be artists that I have never met before.
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. So this was a blast. I encourage everyone, share this episode. This episode is packed with so much great information. I mean, really on some processes here, guys, and how to do things in marketing, what's worked, what doesn't work. And, even these third parties out there that are looking to enhance your campaign, but do they really? And, you like that? Air quotes. So, please share this out, and everyone have a great night. Ron, again, thank you so much. Billy, as always, my friend.
Thank you. I apologize, Ron, for me freezing up. I'll call my my service provider tomorrow and see what's up. They might have to restart the whole thing. from their end. I don't know, because I'm on 5G and I'm breaking up and stuff, and
And you just broke up again.
Look.
Yeah.
Weird.
See? Frozen. See that? Look. Frozen Tucci, guys. See that?
Max Headroom again.
Frozen Tucci guy. Wake
Max.
up.
Alright, guys.
Wake up. All right, guys. Have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. Ron, thanks again. And again, once you're on the show, you're part of the Crowdfunding Comics family. If you have anything coming up, let us know. If you got a great idea for another creator that needs to get something promoted, they should come on the show. Let us know. If you've got something coming up or you think it'd be a great co-host, let us know. And we will see you all again. So everyone have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
and as
Ron.
always,
Thank you guys. Really
keep on
appreciate it.
smiling and crowdfund away, America. Crowdfund away.
We'll see you at the near. I'm frozen it. We'll see you at the near Comic-Con, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you at New York Comic Con.
Awesome. See you guys there. Yeah.
All right, bye.
Alleys and Ales.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell. You may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram, Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.